Now, I'd like to introduce you to a member of American Dental Sales in your region. Earl Douglas, thank you so much for joining us. I know that you have a lot that you want to share with us. So first, tell us a little bit about your experiences with dental practices.
Well, originally, I started my career as a dentist. I graduated from University of Maryland Dental School in 1971, and I practiced dentistry until 1982. 1982, I decided I needed a career change, so I sold my dental practice, went back to school for a master's in business, and started in the dental appraising and brokering business. And I've had my own company, Professional Practice Consultant, since 1984.
Well, and I know that you're a member of American Dental Sales, so how does this relationship benefit you and your clients? Well,
as the founder of American Dental Sales, I had a vision for this organization as early as 1992. We would meet with 80 different colleagues of mine throughout the country, and getting to know these people and the expertise, the experience, the credentials, it seemed like there was a real good application for an association of the best people in our group. So for a period of 4 years, I was encouraging people to come together, and with the help of Guy Jaffe and Don Zimmerman in 1994 at a meeting, we kicked off American Dental Sales. Since then, the dream has been taken up by every other member. It's very gratifying to me to see an idea that I thought was excellent get even better and bigger. American Dental Sales has contributed immensely to the professional growth of each member, each broker, each appraiser and consultant in the organization. The whole purpose is for the benefit of the client. We wanted a forum, an opportunity in which to grow professionally, to give ourselves a higher degree of continuing education, to set standards and ethics, and just raise the bar of professionalism of brokers. And whenever the broker is more professional, more competent, more able, the client gets better service.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the key to a successful transition?
The key to a successful transition is fairly simple. That is when everybody's expectations are met. So, for a seller, if he gets his price and terms, it's a successful transition. For a buyer, if he receives the net income from the practice that he expects, this is a successful transition for him. So it is possible to create a win-win in creating the context of the win for each party, taking away the competitiveness of the transaction and identifying the goals for each party individually.
Well, it seems that you, in your role as the broker, can help develop the structure of the sale.
Well, this is quite critical. Many different opportunities arise in each different sales situation. In some cases, a seller may wish to stay and work after the sale. Sometimes this is possible. Sometimes it's essential. Sometimes it's impossible. It's the broker's role to determine when and to what extent he can work. All of the different variables of a practice sale have to be examined: the tax consequences, the cash flow for the buyer, the sale benefits, tax treatment for the seller. So the structure is very critical in determining the wins, the successes for each party involved.
Well, and how do you help a seller to find a buyer?
We are constantly prospecting for prospects. Professional Practice Consultants places ads in Dental Economics, JADA. We're listed on the internet. We encourage referrals from dental supply companies and representatives and other individuals who are in contact with dentists. So between these lists, we get quite a number of prospects. In addition to this, probably the best prospects we get are the ones referred by satisfied clients.
And confidentiality is always an issue when a practice is listed for sale, so how do you manage this?
Well, that's quite a sensitive issue. Nobody wants anybody to know what they're doing or how they're doing it or when they're doing it. So our company is always looking for ways to protect the confidentiality. Non-disclosure statements, calls only to the dentist at home are the ways that we perform this element. And we will always tell the sellers, too, there's 4 rules of confidentiality. Number 1, we will keep it airtight. Number 2, it will leak. Number 3, it will scare you. But number 4, it won't hurt you.
Good advice. Once a buyer becomes seriously interested in a practice, then what becomes your role?
When we have a serious prospect, then it's time to get down to work. At this point, we generate draft documents to describe the terms and conditions of the sale, and we start applying for financing and taking care of the numerous other details such as the office lease, discussions with the office staff, and all of the hundreds of details that go into the completion of the deal.
And once financing has been secured, is your job now finished?
Now, once we have the financing in place, we are still working on completing negotiation of the contracts between the parties and usually in tying up the other loose ends. So even though the financing used to be one of our biggest challenges, but fortunately now there are numerous companies that are very positive and constructive in the financing, but we still have work to do once that's approved.
All right, you've brought the buyer and the seller together, you've assisted in each stage of the transition process, and now you come to the closing. So what part do you play in that?
Well, our advice for closing is sign and smile. So I'm usually there to make sure that they sign and smile. Now, if there is a little glitch or a little detail, we're also prepared to take care of any little problems. Situations like that are very rare because everything has been taken care of before we get to the closing table. So it's sign and smile.
So now is it time to celebrate?
Absolutely. The closing is the cause for celebration because look what we've done. We have just sold a practice and made a retirement possible, well-funded and happy for a person who's worked hard all of his life. And at the same time, we started a new dentist in his career. So this is the greatest cause for celebration we can find between 2 dentists.
Well, and it seems clear that your services and your membership in American Dental Sales benefits both the buyer and the seller. So what words of advice do you have for a potential buyer or seller of a dental practice?
Well, for either a buyer or seller, we urge them, seek professional help. We say to a dentist, you don't fix your x-ray machine when it breaks. And selling your practice is much more complicated, involved, and impactful. So there are so many ramifications of a sale. You have the tax, you have the marketing, you have the negotiating, you have the financing. And dentists are totally unprepared to handle these areas. And buyers are totally unprepared to identify just what their wins are. They need educating, they need help. They need support from the various different realms of professional people. They need the insurance consultant, they need the accountant, they need the attorney, they need the management consultant. So when your career is at stake, this is not a time for experimentation. This is a time to get absolute qualified help in the best sense possible, and that's going to result in the most successful sale for a seller and successful purchase for a buyer.
Well, Earl, thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise with us.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.